My beloved child, take a deep breath and allow your heart to feel the gentle warmth of my presence, for I am here with you, always vigilant in love, ensuring that every step you take is watched over by my eternal care. Let not your spirit be weighed down by the noise and chaos of daily burdens, for I designed you to thrive under my watchful eye. I see every hidden hope, and I hold every silent tear, convinced that no sorrow is too small for my great compassion. Allow me to remind you how deeply you are adored, how each breath you draw is an echo of my divine purpose. Even when shadows threaten, you need not tremble, because I am ever your strong shield, defending you against the arrows of despair that may seek to wound you. Open your soul to my rest, for I long to restore your broken pieces into something radiant and whole. Do not hesitate to lean on me, for in the quietness of trust lies the gateway to the wonders I have prepared. Move forward boldly, for my love never wavers. I cherish you beyond what words can fully capture, and I delight in every unique facet of your being, like a skilled artist who carefully shapes a masterpiece. You are not an accident, nor are you here by some arbitrary twist of fate. Rather, you are crafted with a holy intent, a precious gift to the world around you. Sometimes you might forget this, especially when voices of doubt or negativity attempt to drown out the truth of who you really are. But let me reiterate, you are a bright light in my grand tapestry, fashioned for a story of grace and redemption that is unlike any other. I rejoice each time you step closer to my presence with a quiet prayer, a thoughtful act, or a simple thank you whispered into the hush of your day. Know that in these moments you reflect my own heart, shining my goodness through your actions. Stand tall, for I am always with you. I know those nights when your pillow is stained with tears that no one else knows about, and you question whether I hear the sobs you hush before dawn breaks. Yet be assured that every teardrop is accounted for in my tender mercy, just as the psalmist once cried that I store all tears in a bottle. Do not feel ashamed of your weeping or think it reveals a lack of faith. Even my son wept over heartbreak and injustice. Come to me, for my shoulders are strong enough to bear your heaviest burdens, and my arms wide enough to cradle every sorrow. I do not dismiss your grief, but invite you to rest it upon my love, confident that healing emerges from open wounds offered in faith. Take courage, for I am closer than your breath. I am your refuge when the cacophony of life drowns out your quiet aspirations, or when the demands of daily existence overshadow the hope you once held dear. Like the fortress that stands firm against relentless storms, I encircle you with unwavering protection. Even if you feel cornered by financial concerns, strained relationships, or health struggles, my spirit remains an unshakable stronghold for your soul. Let your heart find peace in the knowledge that you never walk unprotected. My watchful presence guards your every step. I see beyond the present chaos to the destiny I formed for you long before you drew your first breath. So do not fear the shifting winds. You are loved eternally, for I will not abandon you. I marvel at the spark of courage you show, even when you stand trembling before the unknown, uncertain if you can take one more step into that darkness. Never doubt that I am the light illuminating each next foothold. Recall how I guided the Israelites with a pillar of cloud by day and a pillar of fire by night, ensuring they would not lose their way in the wilderness. In the same manner, I guide your path, gently shining the lamp of my word to direct your feet. If you feel that your faith is but a flickering flame, I promise to breathe upon it with my gentle breath, fanning it into a steady glow. Take heart, for I am light in every shadow. I call you to prayer, not as a ritual, but as a vital lifeline that connects your heart to my infinite compassion. Speak to me with words or tears, with songs or silence. I listen to the language of the soul, which transcends any set formula. You do not need lofty expressions or theological arguments. Come simply and trustingly as a child approaching a loving parent. And if you ask, "Do you truly hear me?" my reply is unwavering. Yes, I do. Every sigh, every longing, every cry for help. Let your anxieties flow from your lips into my hands, knowing I am mighty enough to hold them, wise enough to respond in ways that refine you, and kind enough to carry you to safety. Stand firm, for my love never leaves you. I understand the discomfort of feeling overlooked or misunderstood, and I comfort you with the knowledge that my gaze never falters in your direction. If you recall Hagar, who felt lost in the desert, you'll remember that I revealed myself as the God who sees, proving that no soul escapes my notice. So in your daily interactions, whether you labor in an office or at home, whether you volunteer or search for purpose in hidden corners, I am there, celebrating the small seeds of goodness you plant. Even if no one else applauds, my delight in you remains constant, like a father excitedly observing a child's first steps. Keep going, for you are treasured in my sight. I promise that my plans for you brim with hope, especially when life's trials attempt to weigh you down with despair. Reflect on how I gave Abraham a promise of countless descendants even when his situation seemed impossible, or how I turned Ruth's sorrow into a lineage leading to kings. In the same way, I see your future from beginning to end, carefully weaving your experiences, both painful and joyful, into a redemptive tapestry. So do not let your present challenges overshadow the bright horizon I have prepared. The seeds of transformation are taking root, though you may not see them yet. Remember always, I am ever faithful. I crave your authenticity, not a polished veneer of piety. Let your heartfelt struggles come to me unfiltered, for in truth and honesty our relationship flourishes. Consider the Psalms, where David expressed rage, sorrow, and doubt, yet always returned to the anchor of my steadfast presence. If you find yourself wrestling with questions or frustrations, do not hide them behind forced smiles or superficial words. Pour them out in the secret place of prayer, and watch me exchange your heaviness for a garment of praise. You are never alone. I am always with you. I plant in you a worth that surpasses the fleeting judgments of society. Like a gem hidden in the earth, your true value is not determined by surface appearances. You carry the imprint of my own image, created with a capacity to reflect my compassion, creativity, and love in ways uniquely yours. In moments you feel overshadowed by more outspoken or celebrated individuals, recall that I see the radiance of your soul shining quietly, even in the background. My kingdom often elevates the humble, revealing greatness in the unexpected. Embrace your uniqueness, for I delight in your rare beauty. I notice each time you wrestle with insecurity, comparing your life to the curated highlights of others. Perhaps you question if your path measures up, if your gifts are sufficient, or if you have strayed too far from my blessing. Let me dispel that doubt. I shape each life's story with a distinct blueprint, not to create competition, but to compose a grand symphony, each instrument playing its special part. Don't be swayed by illusions of perfection around you. No heart is more dear to me than another. Surrender your anxieties and let me lead you with my gentle hand. I watch over you in every breath you take. I remind you that your broken places are not wasted in my economy, for I specialize in weaving beauty from ashes. Moses, stuttering and uncertain, became a liberator. Mary Magdalene, once bound by turmoil, became a herald of my son's resurrection. History overflows with testimonies of my capacity to bring radiance from ruin. So if your soul feels scarred by regret, betrayal, or a sense of emptiness that defies explanation, do not fear. Give me those fractured pieces. I stand ready to reshape them into something greater than your wildest dreams. Take heart, for healing is on the way. I am your shield, unwavering and secure, repelling the arrows of doubt that aim to puncture your hope. Whether the doubts arise from external voices, critical remarks, or dismissive attitudes, or from within, seated by fear, my shield remains. Stand behind it, covered by the promise that I will never allow these flaming darts to consume your spirit. Feel the tension release as you let go of self-defensiveness, trusting that my protection outlasts any adversity. In your quiet confessions or shouted prayers, my presence does not fail you, for I am the guardian of your soul. You are safe, for I am your refuge. I see every cry you stifle beneath a calm exterior, each restless thought flickering through your mind while you try to maintain composure. Let me urge you to come as you truly are, worn, confused, yet hopeful, in prayer. In that raw honesty, my grace finds an unhindered path to flow, much like water seeps into cracked soil. Let your vulnerabilities become channels for my power, for I am drawn to the lowly, the contrite, the real. Read the gospel accounts of sinners who boldly approached my Son, discovering unconditional acceptance and life-altering transformations. Pray boldly, for I long to listen and respond. I tenderly ensure that no story of heartbreak or failure is beyond my redemptive touch. This is not mere rhetoric, but a proven reality across every generation that has sought me. Consider Joseph in the Old Testament, cast aside by his own brothers, yet eventually rising to save many in a land of famine. Even your darkest chapters, if offered to me with a trusting heart, can become seeds for new life. The fruit that emerges from adversity can feed your spirit and, indeed, nourish others who walk a similar path. Believe in my redemption, for nothing is impossible for me. I rejoice each time you extend compassion to those hurting around you, for that reflection of my love brings healing in ways you might never witness firsthand. A tender word to someone overlooked, a genuine smile for a stranger, a gentle reassurance to a fearful friend. These small acts saturate the atmosphere with my kindness. Don't underestimate their cumulative effect. Your single act of love could ignite hope in a heart on the verge of giving up. You become my co-laborer, sowing seeds of grace that I will water and grow. I bless you. Walk forward in peace. I am aware of how the rush of daily life can overshadow the quiet voice of my spirit, calling you to rest in my presence. In the hush of dawn or the stillness after dusk, my whisper often emerges, guiding you to reflect on my faithfulness. Resist the temptation to speed through your hours without pause, for in the hush you find renewed clarity. Let the stories of ancient prophets who sought my counsel in lonely deserts remind you that solitude can be a cradle of revelation. Return to that place of intimacy and feel my presence wrap around you like a comforting blanket. You are never alone. I am always with you. I understand the sting of betrayal that can bruise your spirit, making you doubt the sincerity of those around you. Even my own son tasted betrayal from a beloved disciple. When trust is fractured, it's tempting to close off your heart entirely, but I remind you that love has the power to rebuild what others tried to break. Hold on to my example. Though I am often slighted, I never cease loving. Let me infuse your wounded spaces with courage to forgive, readiness to heal, and wisdom for healthy boundaries moving forward. Hope remains, for I mend what is torn. I delight when you choose to lift your voice in worship, whether through songs, poetry, or quiet reflections brimming with gratitude. Worship is not a performance, but the language of your soul meeting my heart. It draws you nearer, opening your spirit to my wonders. In biblical accounts, worship preceded walls falling and battles won, signifying the might unleashed when hearts exalt my name. So raise your praises, letting them echo across your struggles until my power manifests in ways that leave you in awe. Stand firm, for my love never leaves you. I am moved by every prayer you offer for others, especially when you intercede for those you might not even know personally. This outward focus showcases my nature of boundless compassion. The prayer of a faithful soul can shift destinies, rearranging obstacles that block someone else's progress. You join the cloud of witnesses from centuries past, believers who prayed earnestly, unleashing divine interventions that shaped nations, families, and personal breakthroughs. Keep kneeling before me with a humble heart, for I take your intercessions as precious incense, breathing new life where despair once lurked. Do not worry, for I am opening a new door for you. I speak words of comfort into your weariness, reminding you that my strength is made perfect in your weakness. If you feel like you have nothing left to give, let that be the moment you place your burdens into my hands, exchanging your exhaustion for my sustaining power. Recall how Elijah, consumed by fatigue, found rest and encouragement under a simple broom tree before continuing his prophetic mission. Let me be that shelter for you, a restful shade in the heat of life's demands, renewing your strength so you can continue onward with resilience and faith. You are not forgotten. I treasure your every struggle. I long for you to grasp the magnitude of my mercy, a wellspring that never runs dry. My forgiveness extends beyond your worst moments or your gravest errors. It washes your guilt away and redefines your identity. The cross stands as an eternal testament to how far I would go to bring you back to me. If you have gone astray or feel unworthy, come boldly to my throne of grace, for I stand ready to cleanse and to restore. Let my healing presence silence the condemning voice in your mind, reminding you that you are indeed a new creation. You are secure, for my grace abounds. I invite you to live with eyes wide open, noticing the subtle blessings I sprinkle across your day. A solution to a nagging problem, an unexpected laugh during a stressful moment, or a nudge from a friend that arrives right on time. These are not coincidences, but gentle reminders of my involvement. The prophet Elijah discovered me in a still, small voice, rather than in the boisterous wind, earthquake, or fire. Similarly, I often communicate through delicate threads of everyday grace. Cultivate an awareness that transforms the ordinary into glimpses of my extraordinary love. I watch over you in every breath you take. I reveal my heart. Each time you read Scripture with an expectant spirit, for my word is alive, resonating beyond historical context to guide you personally. Whether you devour entire chapters or meditate on a single verse, I speak through the text, highlighting truths that apply to your present circumstances. Let my messages of promise from Psalms, or my warnings of idolatry from Exodus, or my revelations of future glory from Revelation sink into your heart. As you store these treasures within, you bolster your faith to withstand life's storms. Embrace my word, for it gives life and light. I gently remind you to care for the body I have graciously bestowed upon you, for it is a temple of my spirit, a vessel through which my love and power can manifest. Balance your days between labor and rest, feed your body with nourishing meals, and tend to any ailments that arise. I gave you this mortal frame not as a burden, but as an instrument for accomplishing divine purpose. When fatigue sets in or stress gnaws, do not forget that my healing extends to the physical realm, renewing your cells, your breath, your vitality. Do not fear, for I hold your well-being in my hands. I listen with delight when you share your testimony of how my hand has moved in your life, whether it's a near-miss accident that left you safe, a relationship that found reconciliation, or a once-dead dream revived by my grace. Such stories are not for your glory, but for my greater narrative, weaving threads of hope into the tapestry of others' lives. Remember how the Samaritan woman's honest account of her encounter with Jesus ignited belief in her whole village. In the same way, your words can spark transformation in hearts you never expected to reach. Shine your light, for many long for encouragement. I knit the details of your tomorrow with intricacy, ensuring that even the jagged moments of the past have their place in the mosaic of your future. Reflect on Joseph, who discovered that his brother's betrayal set him on a path that ultimately rescued an entire region from famine. Let that revelation humble you, recognizing that my ways are higher than your immediate perceptions. When confusion or frustration arises because you cannot see the full picture, recall how my vantage point spans eternity. Trust my timing, for I am weaving a grand tapestry of grace. I cradle you through each shifting season, whether you walk the bright roads of prosperity or the dim valleys of hardship. Seasons come and go. There is a time to sow, a time to reap, a time to mourn, and a time to dance. But in every shifting pattern, I remain your constant companion, as unwavering as the morning sun that never fails to rise. If you're in a dry wilderness, cling to my promise that I create streams in the desert. If you flourish in a season of abundance, keep a humble heart, acknowledging that my gift is for your good and the benefit of others. Press on, for I am your enduring refuge. I detect the tensions you carry, fears about your family, uncertainties in your workplace, silent disappointments about unfulfilled plans. Do not try to handle all these burdens alone, for my word in Matthew says, "Come to me, all who are weary, and I will give you rest." Hand over every knot of worry, and watch as my peace, surpassing human logic, settles around you like a gentle cloak. By relinquishing control, you create space for my unstoppable power to rearrange and redeem. Let go, for I am your steadfast helper. I reassure you that no promise of mine goes unfulfilled, though my methods may surprise you. Perhaps you have prayed for a shift in circumstances, not realizing that I intend to transform your heart first. Or you have pleaded for healing, not seeing that my greater plan includes forging deeper empathy within you. If the timeline feels delayed, remember that I do not operate by hurried schedules. I align events so that the outcome best serves your growth and my glory. Cling to hope, for I complete what I begin. I smile each time you find delight in small blessings. A warm beverage on a chilly morning, a vibrant flower blooming unexpectedly, the grin of a child who spots something wondrous in the mundane. These gifts are love letters from me, sprinkled throughout your life, aiming to remind you that I care intimately, not just about large miracles, but also about daily joys. When you adopt a posture of gratitude, you tune your senses to my ongoing generosity, building a fortress of contentment that storms of greed or envy cannot penetrate. Be thankful, for my goodness surrounds you always. I repair the illusions that suffering or death might claim the final say, for in my realm, resurrection stands as the ultimate victory. Think of my son rising from the tomb, silencing the notion that hopelessness has a permanent grip. The same spirit that raised him from the dead is available to breathe new life into your darkest despair, your greatest heartbreak, your fear of the unknown. If you face sorrow or the sting of loss, let my resurrection power remind you that endings can become beginnings in my hands. Look up, for I am the God who defeats death. I nurture your capacity for forgiveness, urging you to release the burdens of grudges that weigh your heart down more than you realize. Forgiveness is not about trivializing the wrong done to you. It's about freeing your soul from bitterness that clings like an anchor at the bottom of a stormy sea. With my grace, you can forgive as I have forgiven you, letting compassion overshadow resentment. This step of faith unleashes healing that can mend even the deepest wounds. Forgive, for my love empowers you to overcome resentment. I rejoice in your quiet acts of service, often performed in hidden spaces with no audience. Maybe you bring a meal to a recovering neighbor, or sit in the stillness of the night comforting a friend in crisis. These tasks may appear ordinary, yet they resonate in my kingdom with the brilliance of the brightest star. I see it all, for my vantage point misses nothing. I reward even a cup of water given in my name. Keep serving in humility, for I exalt the lowly. I speak to your anxieties about finances or stability, promising that my resources never run dry. Did I not feed Elijah through ravens in the wilderness and sustain an entire nation with manna falling from heaven? Your situation, however dire it seems, cannot outstrip my creativity or my ability to provide. When you yield your concerns to me, trusting that I own the cattle on 1,000 hills, you open the door to miraculous interventions that surpass your calculations. Remain at peace, for I am your provider. I weave your past, present, and future into a cohesive narrative of restoration. Let go of regret that anchors you to a memory you cannot change. Let go of unrealistic fantasies that prevent you from appreciating the blessings around you. Let my grace define your present, renewing your vision for each dawn. In Revelation, I declare that I make all things new. That includes the chapters of your life story. Even if you feel the final sentences have been written, watch how I add epilogues of surprising joy. Embrace the now, for I am writing a better ending. I plant seeds of compassion in your soul, so that when you see suffering, be it physical, emotional, or spiritual, your heart responds with mercy rather than judgment. As my child, your compassion reflects my own heart, the same heart that wept over Jerusalem and insisted that children come to my son. The world yearns for living testimonies of love, so do not hold back your empathy. Extend a listening ear, a gentle hand, an uplifting prayer, trusting that my power flows through your willingness to care. You are my hands and feet, love without reservation. I am patient with you, even when you find yourself circling the same doubt or stumbling over the same weakness. My mercy is not a finite commodity. It is infinite and self-renewing, waiting for the moment your heart surrenders once again. If you struggle with repeated failings, do not let shame overshadow the reality that I remain here with arms wide open, calling you back. There is no condemnation for those who abide in my love, so let your heart rest in that truth, fueling you to stand up and keep going. Rise again, for my forgiveness is ever new. I dance over your spirit with joy each time you awaken to the calling I have placed upon your life, a calling to love, to serve, to create, or to heal. Step by step, as you align your choices with my guidance, the plan I designed for you unfolds. You might not see the entire roadmap, but each faithful decision positions you closer to the purpose I penned in my eternal script. My delight is to watch you flourish, carrying my fragrance into corners of the world that need hope. Step out, for your destiny beckons. I insist that even in your darkest hour, a flicker of my presence can pierce the blackness. Perhaps you feel entombed by anxiety or trapped by an unrelenting sorrow. But just as my son called Lazarus forth from the grave after 4 days, I can call you out from any tomb, be it addiction, despair, or overwhelming guilt. My voice resonates with power that revives and reorders chaos. So do not believe the lie that your situation is beyond rescue. Stand firm, for my word is stronger than your chains. I hope you remember that you are not an orphan left to figure out life alone. My word in the Gospel of John assures that I will not leave you comfortless, for my Spirit dwells within you, guiding, correcting, and uplifting. Let this truth calm your fears of abandonment or isolation. Whenever you question your ability to keep persevering, recall that my spirit intercedes with groanings too deep for words, bridging the gap between your finite prayers and my infinite wisdom. You stand as a temple of my indwelling presence. You are never without help, for my spirit resides in you. I urge you to keep watch over your thoughts, for they shape the lens through which you see me, yourself, and the world. Negative or hopeless ideas can create strongholds that block the light of my grace. Conversely, thinking on whatsoever is true, noble, and pure unleashes my joy within you, as taught in Philippians. Discipline your mind with my word. Let gratitude be your morning posture, and watch how your perspective shifts from gloom to brightness. Remain vigilant, for I enable you to renew your mind. I celebrate your desire to cultivate unity, to bridge differences and foster harmony even when opinions clash or misunderstandings arise. This pursuit of peace mirrors my own heart, which yearns to reconcile humanity to myself and to one another. Recall the words in 2 Corinthians, describing how my son's sacrifice granted humanity the ministry of reconciliation. By being a peacemaker, you become a channel of my love, dissolving barriers that have stood for too long. Bless you for sowing peace, for your labors are not in vain. I smile each time you feed your creativity, composing music, painting a scene, writing words that convey my love, because these expressions echo my creative nature. From Genesis, you see that I fashioned the universe with exquisite detail, calling each part good. Your own creative spark stands as an extension of my artistry, helping you process emotions, convey truth, and inspire hearts. If you ever doubt your abilities, recall that my spirit breathes life into your gifts, empowering them to touch others in ways you may never fully realize. Flourish in creativity, for I delight in your art. I embrace you in moments when you question whether your prayers matter, especially if the outcome does not match your fervent petitions. But my child, know that prayer is not merely about results, it is also about building closeness with me. Each prayer draws your heart deeper into my kingdom's perspective. Sometimes my answer is an immediate yes, other times no or wait, but in every response I weave circumstances to reveal my goodness, refining your faith and shaping your dependence on me. Keep praying, for my ways lead you to deeper communion. I encourage you not to discount your daily routines, the cooking, cleaning, working, driving, caring, teaching, or studying. Each mundane task can become an offering when done with a heart mindful of my presence. Just as Jesus, in the Gospel accounts, showed care even in small acts like washing feet, you too can transform the ordinary into the sacred by infusing it with love. When frustration arises, remember that I see your diligence and bless your perseverance. Let these tasks refine your patience and generosity, for in them I shape your character. Walk in my peace, for I guide your every step. I adore your moments of laughter, those genuine bursts of joy that lighten the burdens of the day. Sometimes you might feel too weighed down to laugh, but I remind you that laughter is also part of my creation, a glimmer of heaven's exuberance. Let your heart find reasons to rejoice, even in the small amusements of life, a silly mishap, a playful joke with a friend, or a spontaneous recollection of something silly from your past. Such joy refreshes the spirit, cutting through layers of stress and worry, reaffirming that my yoke is indeed easy and my burden light. Smile freely, for I am the author of joy. I insist that no storm swirling around you is more potent than my authority. If doubts brew in your workplace, conflicts arise in your home, or your community feels overshadowed by confusion, do not let panic take root. I parted the sea for Moses, I brought down walls for Joshua, and my son rebuked the wind and waves in an instant. There is no tumult, my voice cannot quiet, no swirl of chaos that escapes my calm command. Breathe, and let my presence quell the storms that threaten your peace. Do not fear, for I am your ever-present help. I pronounce blessings over you and your household, blessings of unity, of safe dwelling, of spiritual growth. Understand that these blessings are not empty wishes, but tangible expressions of my abiding covenant with you. As you declare my word in your life, as you pray with faith, you invite the supernatural to intersect with your natural realm. The gospel reveals how my son traveled from home to home, blessing each with truth and miraculous transformation. Open your doors with that same anticipation, for I am eager to bestow my goodness upon your everyday environment. Stand firm, for my love never leaves you. I endorse your right to rest. This world often glorifies incessant hustle, but recall that I rested on the seventh day, setting an example that your soul needs intervals of stillness. Lay aside the pressure to produce, achieve, or outdo. Instead, honor the rhythm of rest, letting your spirit reconnect with my boundless grace. In the hush, you'll find clarity returns and anxieties recede. If your mind protests that rest is unproductive, counter that lie with my word in Psalms that invites you to be still and know that I am God. Peace awaits you. Let me replenish your strength. I awaken your compassion for the lonely, the marginalized, the grieving souls who wander unnoticed in the corners of your life. By noticing them, you become an extension of my love, echoing the biblical command to care for orphans and widows. Even a short conversation can act as a lifeline for someone starved of connection, and a genuine smile can slice through a stranger's despair. Embrace these small windows of opportunity, for in them my spirit stirs, turning fleeting interactions into eternal significance. You are never alone. I am always with you. I return you to the promise that I restore broken places, those silent fractures in your heart, your relationships, your sense of identity that you've hidden away out of shame. My word in Joel proclaims that I will restore the years the locusts have eaten, turning devastation into fruitfulness. So do not assume your best days lie behind you. Hand over those brittle fragments of your story, and watch how my grace reworks them into a tapestry of unexpected beauty. The same power that raised my son from the grave still flows unimpeded. Let it breathe new life into the corners you believed were ruined. Trust this restoration, for I am the God of new beginnings. I celebrate your inclination to worship, whether it's through structured liturgy, silent reverence in nature, or spontaneous praise while driving. Each heartfelt expression of adoration draws you closer to the center of my presence. In worship, your spirit aligns with the rhythm of heaven, reflecting the same devotion that angels embody in Revelation. Let your praise be sincere, not performed to impress onlookers, but offered as an intimate conversation with me. Even a whispered thank you in a moment of relief can resound in eternity with profound significance. Rejoice in me, for I delight in your song. My beloved child, I see your heart and know every hidden longing that rests quietly beneath your daily routines, for I have designed you with a purpose that outshines any fleeting expectation the world may place upon you. There is no corner of your soul that escapes my gaze, and there is no private sorrow I do not comfort with my constant presence. Perhaps you have wondered if anyone truly understands your silent tears, or if anyone notices those small acts of kindness you so often give without applause. I assure you, I notice and I rejoice with every new moment you choose to reflect my light to those around you. You are a precious gem, created with intention, and your worth surpasses every earthly measure. You are never alone. I am always with you. I know how the weight of yesterday's regrets can sometimes make your spirit feel burdened, convincing you that your past mistakes define who you are. But I urge you to remember that I am the one who parted the Red Sea for my people in Exodus, leading them from bondage into freedom. In the same way, I stand ready to part the seas of regret and shame that attempt to hold you captive, guiding you through uncharted paths of mercy. Whatever decisions haunt you, place them into my hands and witness the healing that arises when grace meets a heart willing to be restored. I watch over you in every breath you take. When the world around you rages like a stormy sea, do not fear, for I am your shield, the one who holds you steady when the winds of doubt threaten to uproot your confidence. In Psalms you read of my promises to be a refuge, a fortress you can trust without hesitation. If you feel the ground trembling under your feet, look up to me, for I anchor you in love that cannot be shaken. Even when darkness tries to overshadow your hope, my light breaks through, dispersing every fear that creeps into your spirit. Let your heart rest in the certainty that I conquer all turmoil. Stand firm in faith, for my love never leaves you. I rejoice each time you embrace my invitation to prayer, no matter how hesitant or unsure you may feel about the words you utter. You don't need an eloquent speech or a flawless presentation. Just speak to me as a child speaks to a caring parent. Whenever your burdens grow heavy, simply place them before me with honest words and trust that I listen. Recall how my word in the Gospel of John reminds you that I hear your petitions, responding in ways that best nurture your soul. Through prayer, you enter the space where my limitless strength meets your heartfelt pleas, weaving hope into your circumstances. I bless you. Walk forward in peace. I understand your fears about the future, particularly those unspoken anxieties that emerge in the lonely hours. Yet I am the same one who gave Sarah a child in her old age, demonstrating that my purposes transcend every perceived limitation. So do not entertain the notion that your best days are behind you, or that your story cannot find redemption. I am skilled at transforming ashes into beauty, turning weeping into laughter, proving again and again that no period of darkness can extinguish my presence. Let your faith expand, knowing that I orchestrate every season to shape you into the masterpiece I always intended you to be. Do not worry, for I am opening a new door for you. I recognize how exhaustion can settle in like an unwanted guest, draining your delight and eroding your motivation day by day. My dear one, come to me and find rest, for I created you not to toil endlessly, but to experience life in the fullness of my sustaining love. Think about how my own Son invited the weary to find solace in him, promising that his yoke is easy and his burden is light. Allow your soul to soak in that same refuge. Bring me your fatigue, your frustrations, your unspoken discouragements. Then witness as I replenish your spirit, restoring the glow of hope that might have dimmed. I see you and cherish you. Hold your head high. Do not doubt that you hold a divine calling, even if your tasks appear ordinary or overlooked by others. I formed you with singular gifts, some gentle, some bold, but all purposeful. Each compassionate act, each honest effort, each word spoken in kindness, these reflect my nature within you. And yes, I rejoice whenever your heart beats with my rhythm, be it through a small act of mercy at home or an act of courage in your community. Just as I called Moses from shepherding sheep to deliver an entire nation, I too have countless ways to use your unique story for my glory. Embrace hope, for I am working in your story. I hear every sigh that escapes when you feel misunderstood or lonely, every whisper of longing for someone to see beyond your exterior. But remember, I look not at the outside but at the heart, as it says in Samuel, and I am the one who truly sees you. Even when you feel invisible in a crowd, My eyes are fixed upon your soul with unwavering devotion, noticing every unspoken sorrow and every flicker of faith. So let that truth comfort you and give you security. I will never neglect or discard you, nor will I tire of your questions or your struggles. Trust me, greater things are coming. Sometimes the path ahead looks blurred, the signposts uncertain, and you wonder how to proceed. In such moments, remember that I am the God of clarity and light. My word can illuminate your way, serving as a lamp for your feet and a light for your path, just as Psalms declares. Lean on my guidance, seeking my wisdom in prayer, and watch how the fog dissipates, revealing my footprints leading you onward. If you find yourself doubting whether you can step forward, lean into my unwavering presence, for I do not permit you to walk alone through the shadows. Rest in my care, for I strengthen your heart. I see the disappointment that flares when cherished dreams crumble or situations end differently than you'd hoped. Yet no closed door is wasted when surrendered to my redemption. Recall how Joseph's journey to Egyptian slavery paved the way for salvation, not only for himself, but for many others. In the same way, I guide your life's narrative, weaving even the harshest turns into a greater tapestry of grace. When heartbreak strikes, offer me the shards of your hopes, trusting that I shape them into something resilient and unexpectedly wonderful. Stand strong in the knowledge that my plans exceed all you can imagine. You are never alone. I am always with you. I take joy when you show kindness to those who cannot repay you. An elderly neighbor, a stranger in need, a friend overwhelmed by life's storms. Such love mirrors mine, for I gave my son without calculating any cost or expecting repayment. In your everyday gestures of compassion, from a listening ear to a helping hand, you manifest my heart for humanity. Even if no one applauds or even notices, rest assured I witness each act of generosity. Let your love flow freely, unencumbered by the world's transactional mindset. You will not regret sowing kindness, for I watch over you in every breath you take. I speak blessings over you each dawn, as the sun rises to chase away the darkness of night, because my mercies are new every morning. While it might sound poetic, it is a profound promise of my unending devotion. So do not cling to yesterday's regrets or tomorrow's uncertainties. Fix your gaze upon me, the one who knows how to turn every stumbling block into a stepping stone. Just as the Israelites found fresh manna each day in the wilderness, you will find fresh grace for today's battles, one step at a time. Remain faithful and watch my faithfulness unfold beyond your greatest hopes. Stand firm in faith, for my love never leaves you. I understand that storms can come with relentless force, an illness you never expected, a relationship that dissolves, or a sudden loss that leaves you breathless. When the winds of sorrow threaten to overwhelm your soul, recall that I am your anchor. My presence is steady, my power unmatched, and my desire is to hold you close until the fierce winds subside. You might feel battered by wave after wave of challenges, but my arm remains mighty to save, like the strong fortress described in the Psalms. Let my everlasting arms cradle you, ensuring you remain unbroken amid life's fiercest gales. I bless you. Walk forward in peace. I recognize that trust can be fragile when heartbreak has visited too often, or disappointments have stacked themselves against your once bright optimism. But my dear one, do not let cynicism erode your faith. Instead, let heartbreak become a doorway through which my grace enters, softening the hardened places in your heart so that my love can grow there. Reflect on Ruth, who, after losing so much, encountered blessings that reshaped her destiny. Believe likewise that I orchestrate fresh beginnings even at the edges of deep sorrow. Let each tear water seeds of faith that will bloom in my appointed time. I watch over you in every breath you take. I call you to be a light to others, shining even in your moments of vulnerability, for those are often where my power is revealed most beautifully. Your trials can resonate with someone else's loneliness, and your eventual triumph can spark hope in a heart losing sight of brighter days. Do not shy away from sharing your journey, the stumbles and the victories alike. Each testament of my intervention reminds the world that I am still the God who rescues, who parted seas, and who continues to work wonders unseen. Embrace hope, for I am working in your story. I crave your openness in prayer, that you would not hold back your frustrations, your questions, or even your anger. My love does not quiver at your honesty. It welcomes it. Recall how David poured out his heart in the Psalms, voicing grief and bewilderment before finding solace in my unwavering presence. I invite you to do the same, for heartfelt conversation binds you closer to my heart, teaching you the intimate language of trust. Surrender every corner of your soul to me, confident I will never reject your vulnerability. Trust me, greater things are coming. I find great delight in your moments of gratitude, whether it's for a warm meal, a beautiful sunrise, or a long-lost friend reappearing in your life. Gratitude transforms your vision, letting you perceive how my blessings weave through the mundane details you often overlook. It keeps your spirit aligned with the humility that acknowledges each gift, no matter how small. Even in difficult seasons, you can choose to dwell on my goodness, tasting the subtle sweetness that emerges from faith tested by fire. Let your thanksgiving serve as an offering that rises before me, filling the atmosphere with a fragrance of joy. Rest in my care, for I strengthen your heart. I watch your journey, noting every time you forego resentment to practice forgiveness, each instance you pick love over hostility. In a world that often prizes retaliation, your choice to forgive stands as a radiant sign of my presence. Understand that forgiveness is not endorsing wrongs. It is granting your heart the freedom to heal. Think of Joseph, who forgave his brother's cruelty, enabling him to rise as a channel of blessing to many. In the same manner, your willingness to let go of bitterness paves the way for my grace to flow freely through your life. You are never alone. I am always with you. I treasure your labor when you care for others in need, whether it's a relative battling illness, a friend caught in financial stress, or even a stranger you assist for mere seconds. Such compassion reflects my very nature, the same love that reached down to humanity's darkest pit to bring salvation. Do not grow weary in doing good, for the harvest eventually emerges, surpassing all your expectations. Sometimes a humble act of compassion, done with genuine empathy, can echo throughout eternity. Do not worry if the results remain unseen, for I see it, and my heart overflows with gratitude for your selfless spirit. Do not worry, for I am opening a new door for you. I hear you even when words fail you, when your prayers become sighs and tears that words cannot articulate. Indeed, my spirit intercedes in groanings beyond human comprehension, ensuring that I never lose track of your deepest yearnings. So do not think your prayer is incomplete simply because your vocabulary falters. I decode every heartbreak and transform it into a sweet petition before my throne. Let your silence become sacred ground where my whisper meets your unspoken pleas, forging an unbreakable bond of comfort and understanding. I see you and cherish you. Hold your head high. I understand your longing for affirmation, that innate desire to feel valued and acknowledged in a vast, hurried world. My dear one, look to me for that ultimate validation. Human applause can fade as quickly as it appears, but my delight in you endures. Think of how Jesus, even at the height of ministry, sought my affirmation above that of the crowds. Adopt the same posture, looking upward for approval. In every honest step you take, you bring my heart immeasurable joy. Embrace that joy and let it free you from the tyranny of public opinion. Embrace hope, for I am working in your story. I know sometimes you feel inadequate when comparing yourself to people around you who seem more successful or more spiritual, but your journey is unique. Your lane is your own, fashioned by my design. I measure you not by human standards, but by how faithfully you cultivate what I've entrusted to you. If your contribution appears smaller by the world's scale, it does not diminish its worth in my eyes. In the Gospels, the widow who gave 2 small coins offered more than the wealthy because her sacrifice was saturated with sincerity. Let that remind you that your heart's posture matters more than public recognition. Trust me, greater things are coming. I see the nights you toss and turn, wrestling with questions that have no easy answers. Often, I work during those silent hours, whispering solutions or planting seeds of courage you might only realize upon waking. Think of how I spoke to Joseph through dreams, guiding his path with clarity that was initially mysterious. While I might not always reveal grand revelations, I frequently sow gentle nudges or impressions that help shape your decisions. When morning breaks, your spirit may sense a renewed conviction or a calm that arises from my nightly companionship. Rest in my care, for I strengthen your heart. I tenderly remind you to remain watchful for small miracles scattered throughout your day. A word of encouragement from a friend, a sudden opening in a seemingly blocked path, or an inexplicable peace that envelops you out of nowhere. Such instances are not coincidences but glimpses of my hand in your life, offering constant proof that I orchestrate events beyond your immediate sight. Reflect on how the prophet Elijah experienced me not in the earthquake or the fire, but in a still small voice. Likewise, be attentive to each subtle sign of my involvement, for I delight in letting you see my fingerprints in your life. You are never alone. I am always with you. I promise that no broken place within you is beyond my ability to mend. If you see cracks in your faith, tears in your confidence, or wounds in your relationships, release them into my healing hands. Like the potter who remolds clay spoiled on the wheel, I shape your life anew, ensuring that flaws become part of a testimony of resilience. Let stories from Genesis to Revelation remind you how my redemptive arc threads through all who place themselves in my care. However you have been chipped or fractured by life's journey, trust that I wield the skill to restore you to wholeness. Stand firm in faith, for my love never leaves you. I encourage you to see adversity not as a curse, but as an opportunity for my power to manifest in your life. Look to the example of Daniel, thrown among lions yet found unharmed, or the early disciples who faced persecution but knew the depth of my sustaining presence. When trials come, do not simply pray for them to vanish. Ask instead how I might transform you through them. Sometimes adversity shapes your compassion, deepens your resilience, or clarifies your purpose. I am the potter refining each piece of clay, not to break it, but to reveal the resilience hidden within. You can overcome, for my strength uplifts you. I relish every moment you choose gratitude over complaint, for gratitude is the key that unlocks an intimate awareness of my blessings. By shifting your perspective to see each day as a gift, you disarm negativity and usher in joy. Even on days overshadowed by sorrow, there is often a glimmer of kindness, a fleeting act of grace, or a quiet success that can foster thanksgiving. As your heart leans into this practice, you'll discover how my love saturates even the mundane, coloring your existence with quiet wonder. Continue thanking me, for I fill your cup abundantly. I reiterate that none of your prayers are wasted. not the earnest pleas for healing nor the quick sighs of relief when a small favor is granted. I gather them, weaving them into the grand tapestry of my will, ensuring that every genuine cry finds its echo in my responses, though you might not always understand the method or timing. Yet as you persist in prayer, your heart becomes more attuned to my direction, and your petitions align with my heart. Keep that connection vibrant, for prayer shapes you as much as it shapes the circumstances. Do not fear, for I am listening attentively. I remind you of my unwavering love, a love deeper than any ocean, wider than any horizon, stronger than the mightiest storms, described throughout every page of Scripture. You can rest in this love, letting it overshadow your insecurities, calm your anxieties, and heal your emotional wounds. Think of the cross as the ultimate testimony of this love, a sacrifice so complete that it shattered the barrier between heaven and earth. Let your mind dwell on that unchanging truth whenever you doubt or feel unworthy. You are not a random creation, but an intentional expression of my steadfast affection. Embrace my love, for it conquers all. I proclaim blessings over your future, urging you to anticipate great things. Look beyond the horizon of your present challenges and see with eyes of faith how I can flip entire narratives. The same God who guided the children of Israel to the Promised Land, who resurrected Lazarus, and who parted the Jordan River is active in your life. Dare to believe that tomorrow holds wonders not yet revealed, and that your present tears will yield a harvest of joy. This expectancy is not wishful thinking, but a reflection of my track record of faithfulness. Move forward, for I am preparing new miracles. I conclude by reaffirming my unwavering presence in your life. Never abandoned, always loved, cherished, and known more deeply than you can fathom. Even when you cannot sense my movement, rest assured I work ceaselessly, orchestrating blessings and forging new paths. My love will never fade, and my promises remain steadfast throughout every season. Therefore, walk forward in my peace, letting my blessing enrich each step. Hold on to faith, for the best is yet to come under my watchful care, and your tomorrows shine bright with the warmth of my favor. Move on with hope, for I am the God who always restores.